Welcome back, guys. Today's the day we cut into the real fabric. We're finally at a point where everything starts coming together. And because I'm me, you know I have to set a vibe before I do anything. Next, I'm pulling out my pattern pieces from the muslin stage, and y'all, they're wrinkled up like they've been through something. Between the pinning, the adjusting, the fitting, and probably me accidentally stepping on them somewhere along the way, these pieces have lived a life. Linen wrinkles like crazy. If you sneeze near it, it wrinkles. So I'm ironing it again. So now I'm laying all of my lilac linen out on the floor. This whole section is a time lapse because it took forever. I'm smoothing out the linen, placing my freshly ironed pattern pieces down. I'm double checking the fold and making sure my grain lines are straight. All of that good stuff. And now I'm cutting everything out. This is just a quick time lapse of what I'm doing because y'all already know cutting is a workout. But we're here. We're doing it and we're committed. Now here's where things got interesting. I zoom in on pattern piece number 1, the main bodice piece, and listen, I knew I was rushing. I knew I was excited and I knew I was gonna make a mistake. I didn't have enough fabric left to cut the lining out of the lilac linen, and I could have panicked, but this is sewing. You don't panic. You improvise. So I dug into my fabric stash and found this beautiful lilac satin. And instantly I said, yep, this will work. I knew I need to interface it so it had the structure of linen, but the color, the sheen, the softness, child, it was meant to be. Then I shrugged like, girl, it is what it is. And I go ahead and cut pattern piece number 1 out of the satin. Then I cut the interfacing too because stability is key when you're mixing materials. I also cut the interfacing for the midriff sections. Linen needs stability in those areas or it'll relax too much over time. So I make sure everything is supported, structured, and ready to go. Then I iron the interfacing onto the satin lining and the midriff pieces. Slow, steady, giving everything a good press. It's the foundation of a clean garment. And before I even start sewing, I always wind 2 bobbins. Always. Now I'm sewing pattern piece number 1 together. I'm adding my boning channels, nothing too detailed since I explained everything in the previous videos. I lay the linen outer layer next to the satin lining, and y'all, this combo looks really good. Then I jump over to pattern piece number 9, the front of the pants. I'm lining up dots for the pleats, pinning everything in place, and I'm going to run a quick basting stitch across the top just to keep those pleats secure. Now we're on to pattern piece number 10, the pockets. I remove my pins from the front pants piece and attach the pocket piece to that curved front opening. I sew that curve, trim my seam allowance down so it lays flat, open it up, and give it a good press so I can turn the pocket to the inside. You'll see me top stitch the edge so that the pocket stays crisp and clean. Linen loves to shift, so top stitching is your friend. Then I move on to pattern piece number 11, the pocket facing. I pin that to the inside and trace my finger around the curve where those 2 pocket pieces will attach. Next is pattern piece number 12, the back of the pants. Point out where my pleats are going, then you see me pin them, baste them, and get that back section ready. I couldn't find regular sewing thread in this color, so I'm using a serger cone. Now I'm sewing the pant pieces together, pressing the seam open, and you see me using my clapper. If you never used a clapper, it basically traps the heat and helps flatten your seam so it looks crisp and professional. Linen needs this. Linen loves this. Then we zoom out to my Singer Pro Finish serger. All 4 cones going. I didn't show this in earlier videos, but linen frays like wild. So I'm serging everything. Pocket pieces, side seams, raw edges, the whole look. It cuts the excess fabric, encloses the edges, and gives it that department store finish. Honestly, it looks so professional I had to get close-ups. These seams are beautiful. Next, we go to an aerial view as I start joining pattern piece number 1, the bodice, to the midriff. I did the midriff prep off camera, but here I'm making sure all the seams line up perfectly. The raw edge on the inside frays like crazy, so I serge that too. I like my garments to be beautiful inside and out. And then my favorite part, I add my custom clothing label, and it just makes the garment feel special. I always put my labels in anything I sew for myself because it's custom. It's intentional, and nobody else will ever have it. This is my little signature. And now I'm pressing the outer bodice where pattern piece number 1 meets the midriff. Linen takes a lot of steam, a lot of pressing, a lot of clapping, and I do all of that. This is the part where everything starts to come together on the inside of the jumpsuit. You'll see a time lapse here of me hand basting the midriff to the top of the pants. Hand basting takes a little extra time, but it gives you a clean, controlled finish before you stitch anything permanently. Once it's basted, I turn the jumpsuit inside out so you can see the inside construction. And honestly, that satin lining from pattern piece number 1 worked out perfectly. Even though I ran out of linen, the color, the finish, everything just blends beautifully. Then I flip the jumpsuit right side out again and start pressing the seam where pattern piece number 1 meets the midriff. I'm really working that iron in because linen wrinkles easily and you want this area to lay smooth, crisp, and clean. After pressing and clapping everything down, I take it over to the sewing machine and begin top stitching the midriff. I'm going slow and steady here since this is the part everyone sees. Clean lines matter. Here, I'm getting ready to close up the jumpsuit with the zipper. I've pinned the back seam together, making sure everything lines up perfectly. I've already basted the back seam together with my machine, and now I'm opening the seam and pressing it flat before inserting the zipper. You'll see me steaming it here and pressing it and using my clapper over and over. Linen needs all that structure. After that, I hand baste the zipper along the seam. This is one of the most important steps if you want a perfect zipper. Fabric shifts through the feed dogs when you sew, especially linen. So if you don't hand baste first, your seams won't match up and you'll be redoing it. This part comes with time and patience. I've been sewing for 10 years and I've messed up plenty of zippers trying to rush. So please take your time here. Here, I'm actually stitching the zipper down with my zipper foot. I go down one side, then the other. Once it's in, I remove the original basting stitches, holding the back closed. You'll see me pull out the threads and unzip the zipper to show how cleanly it lays. Then I go back in to sew closer to the zipper teeth, just to give it that flawless finish. After that, I clip the excess zipper length off since I don't need it, and clean up any loose threads so they don't get caught or snagged. The zipper looks beautiful. It opens smoothly, closes smoothly, and everything is lined up perfectly. Now I'm moving on to the hem of the pants. I fold the fabric up about 5/8 of an inch, press it down, clap it, steam it, and pin it. Then I use my seam gauge to make sure the hem is even all the way around. That's important because you don't want a high-low hem when you're walking. I take it to the machine and sew that first stitch close to the folded edge, about 1/8 of an inch away. Then back to the ironing board. I fold the raw serge edge under, press it again, clap, pin it, and take it back to the machine for the final top stitch. That last line of stitching is about 1/4 inch from the bottom. Then I clip the extra threads and hang the jumpsuit overnight so it can fall, settle, and drape naturally. And now the reveal.